Okay, well, with that, Paul, I've got one final question for you, mate. Something to ask everyone that comes on the show. If you could offer advice to a brand new sales leader, they've been in the job 30, 60, 90 days. Hopefully, it's going to be something to do with storytelling. But what's that one piece of advice that you'd offer them?
Figure out what stories you need and which ones you don't have. That that's the most important thing, I think, is to figure. So we talked earlier about is how you deliver a story really important? It's not that important. Yeah, they'll be better if they're delivered well. But it all starts with having the right stories. And my experience, most salespeople and even sales leaders, experienced sales leaders, don't realize how many different types of sales stories they could and should be telling. They know the kind of sales pitches they want their people delivering, but they're not familiar with the breadth of sales stories they could and should be telling. In fact, in my book, Sell with a Story, I document 25 different types of sales stories, all the way from the moment you introduce yourself to the prospect, to building rapport, to making the sales pitch, to handling objections, to closing the sale, even service after the sale. I mean, there's a handful of types of stories that you should be telling at each of those phases throughout the entire sales process, which might be 6 months or a year or more, depending on the industry you're in. So there are a couple of dozen different types of stories you might tell the same buyer over the course of a year, depending on where you are in the sales cycle. And I think sales leaders, the first thing they need to do is figure out what stories do we need and which ones don't we have yet, because those are the ones we need to go find. Do we need more stories about, how we're different than our competitors? Or are we lacking stories about the invention of the product that we're selling? Or are we lacking stories to create a sense of urgency to close the sale? Or are we lacking stories to help negotiate price? Or, what stories are we missing from this list? And then let's go get them.